Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay. You can't really be doing well after that, can you? So yeah, we'll go with okay. Leeds have lost 4-3 to Spurs. I'm going to do a pre-record because that's a real kick in the old groin, isn't it? Yeah, Leeds losing 4-3. Am I surprised? No. I was actually relatively confident going into this one. I predicted a 2-2 and I thought we'd be able to hurt Spurs. They've been average this season. They've just lost to Nottingham Forest. I thought we'd be able to get something today. I wasn't bothered if it's in a big stadium that can generate decent atmosphere. I thought with who we are in terms of our principles going into football games, I thought we'd be able to hurt Spurs today. And we did for large parts of it. However, there is almost a grander issue here when it comes to Leeds and when it comes to a real worry I have with this side getting relegated this season. Now, I know maybe a lot of you guys will say, it's Tottenham Hotspur, this, that and the other. It's not a good Tottenham Hotspur whatsoever this season. Conte has been on the ropes. And it's more contextualising the fact that we took the lead 3 times. We are horrific at defending. I would argue we have the worst back 4 collectively in the division. There is an argument there for that. And we've given up a ridiculous amount of leads when we've taken the lead in games. We almost drop off. Every single time we score, we drop off. And it's kamikaze, and nothing has changed from when with Marcelo it was chaotic and it was frantic. That element of Leeds United is still there. And it's just a different way we play. Just a different way we play and a different guy in charge in terms of just being able to manage games. We can't manage games. The best form of defence is attack for Leeds. And this was the thing under Bielsa. This was the thing I turned around and said it wasn't sustainable in the Premier League. The Premier League is too good. You can't just attack all the time and almost neglect defending, which Bielsa clearly did. But Marsh, he actively said in his press conferences that they work on set pieces, they work on defensive structure. It's an embarrassment how bad they are at defending. There is always options for the opposition in the box. I don't know if there's an issue with the midfielders not picking up the men. The centre-backs just, I don't know, it's woeful. Not being able to be spatially aware and know where certain individuals are. But any time a team comes forward against Leeds, there's a guarantee that they're going to have a decent, attempt on goal or just off goal. But I don't know if this is sustainable. I just don't think it is. I think you may get a couple of purple patches, but it's just vibes. There are just moments where you might get a little bit of individual quality from Leeds, and that might be it. We saw it a little bit today with the 3 goals, a little bit of individual quality. But I don't know if this system is able to really succeed in the Premier League. And when I say succeed, everyone, I'm not talking about winning anything. I'm not talking about finishing the top 10. I'm just talking about staying up in the Premier League. It just really worries me, and it worries me my reaction as well. I'm sat there and we're scoring 3 goals. I'm not celebrating. I am not celebrating, and that is God's honest truth. For 3 goals, I didn't celebrate because you know what's coming, and the vulnerability that this Leeds side has is ridiculous. It is a chasm at the back, and that hasn't improved. And I don't really know where we go in terms of the structure, in terms of working on that. The mentality of this side has always worried me, and now they've given up the lead 3 times in the same game and lost 4-3 after going 3-2 up on 80 minutes. And let me contextualise this for everybody, for people who are coming in and maybe it's a later date and they may be feeling a little bit more reflective and a little bit more positive about it. Leeds were 3-2 up and conceded 2 goals and had arguably the best player sent off within the space of 6 minutes. I don't, how do you explain that? How is that sustainable? We concede so many goals. We concede so many chances. And this is even the wins, everybody, the wins that we've had. Liverpool, Meslier, man of the match, made I think it was 10 big saves, wasn't it? Bournemouth. Bournemouth should have been out of sight in the first half. We all know that. Great second half from Leeds. Deserved to get something from it 100%. But the amount of chances Bournemouth had, Kiefer Moore, Dom Solanke, ridiculous amount of chances in that first half. Fulham, let's be brutally honest, everybody, they beat us 3-2, but in that first half, they should have been 5 or 6 up. Should have been. So when Jesse constantly talks about luck, we do get the rub of the green as well, and that's because Illan Meslier is a great shot stopper as well, but I'm just desperately worried about this side. And it's not just because of today. It's because you know exactly what's coming. You know how poor we are at the back. And I think the mantra this season is just going to be, we're going to have to outscore teams. Like, look, the exact same as Bielsa. It's just a different way of doing it. And I think that's what we've got to focus on as fans, really. I think that's it. Yeah, you look back at this result and you'll think it's Tottenham. But as I say, when you contextualise it, Tottenham haven't been good, just been recently beaten by Forest, should have been beaten by Bournemouth quite comprehensively in that first half they played against them. And, I thought today Leeds had moments. I thought, the build-up play was all right. But I just think that ball over the top it's every game. Every game, that ball into the channel. As we see, it's boring, innit, everyone? Ball over the top, into the channel, beat the press. And Tottenham figured that out a little bit. I actually thought they could have moved the ball a bit quicker. They did it in a couple of phases in that first half, and it broke through Leeds. But they were a little bit stagnant on the ball. And, listen, the goal that they scored, the first goal shouldn't have been a goal. It was a foul, a blatant foul on Ilan Meslier. Leeds' 3 goals are fantastic. I thought Rodrigo played really well today. Probably his best game, in my opinion, in a Leeds shirt. So I thought his link-up play was decent. I thought against, essentially 3 centre-backs, I thought he was really good. Fantastic finishes as well. So yeah, well played. I thought Somerville was decent. I thought Nonso had a poor game. I thought it was the right decision to bring him off. But I'm stood here with you guys saying the exact same thing. Have Leeds massively evolved as a team? You're bringing on Joe Gelhardt and Matteo Joseph, respectively. You are relying on Somerville and Nonso. Greenwood is almost a first sub at the minute. 3 years ago, we were all talking about playing kids, this, that and the other. We're still playing children in the Premier League. And I don't think there'll be a team who exposes the amount of under-21s that we do to first-team football. It's just not a thing. There's no other team that does that, because every other team is shrewd in January and summer windows, and they bring in depth, quality in depth. They spend money. I don't know. I hope the alarm bells are ringing at Ellen Road. I really do. Because don't get me wrong, the position that we're in at the minute is okay, but I still have a real feeling. And I know we've won the last 2 games. I understand that. I understand that. But let's look at those 2 games, everyone. Look at those 2 games. Liverpool, fantastic, don't get me wrong. Felt like that was a little bit of an anomaly. I actually thought Leeds deserved to win it, but still the amount of chances. And it's almost just like a luck thing. It's just on luck. If Ilan's able to stand up to it on the day, then we might be all right. We might not concede that many. We might not concede over 2 or 3. But I just don't know, in a 38-game season with how good the teams are in this division, if this can carry on. I really don't know. And this isn't me coming on here and saying Marsh out or anything like that. There just has to be new players coming in. That back line is atrocious. It's not good enough as a collective, and you can see that with the amount of goals that we concede. We just don't keep clean sheets. And listen, I know today against Tottenham was always going to be a tough ask, but how can you bring Luke Ayling on and then within the space of 30 seconds concede 2 goals? You literally bring on another defender and we concede again. It's because players like Luke Ayling, players like Liam Cooper should not be featuring for Leeds United in 2022. It's that simple. You need to evolve the squad. We need to get more calibre in. We need to get more quality in, yada, yada, yada. But I don't know if the, Ed and Eddie at the top of the club are gonna do that. I've no idea. I have severe doubts, and that's not being negative. It's based on what they've done before. We needed more players in the summer. They didn't do it. They neglected that. They neglected a centre forward. They got cocky. And we are where we are. And listen, we're not in the relegation zone. Of course we're not. It's a 4-3 loss to Tottenham Hotspur. When you take a step back and look at that, you think to yourself, okay, well, Leeds were in the game. That was a valiant performance. But there are so many other things going on. And I do feel these last 2 results, personally, are papering over the cracks a little bit. And you got to, when you come out and say that, it's I feel like it's almost like a bit of a brave thing to do, because it's almost like you're not giving credit to the wins or credit to Jesse Marsh. That's not what I'm doing. But I think just the amount of chances we concede in every single game, the law of averages, Leeds are going to be conceding a bucket load even when we come back. And teams are going to strengthen in January. They're going to bring in better quality. And as Gary Neville said on the overlap, and Jamie Carragher said on the overlap, and it's funny how it was this week they said that, and they said this to me off air, Leeds have arguably the worst back 4 in the division. You know, they're two defenders who've applied the trade at the highest level. You might not like hearing that. You might not like hearing the people who've said that. You might not like hearing the fact I've come on and said that as a general. But I just don't know if they're up to it. I really don't. I think there's a large, and then again, you look at players like Pascal Struijk. You know, you look at players like Pascal Struijk and you think to yourself, you know, he's a quality player who can't apply his trade. We can't get a full season out of him in his best position. We've never done it. You know, he's either been in centre defensive midfield, left back, right back, and the club have always known that. And he's the best centre back there. You know, and the club do nothing about it. They just chance it every single transfer window. And just to top it off, Tyler Adams gets sent off for a second bookable offence, which is typical in it. So he's going to be missing for the City game, which should be fun. So yeah, very down after that one, guys. I don't know how you can't be down. It's a disappointing result for Leeds. I think just the defensive side of this team is just. I mean, I was talking about bringing in a left back, a central midfielder, and a striker. They won't do all that in January. We know they won't do that. They might look at a striker, and they'll make that complicated. We'll hear probably one name for the entire 30 days. And then it might get done at the end, or he might then go into the under-21s again, because that's all we seem to do, invest in the under-23s heavily, and look to sell them on, you know, and that's you know, I understand that's business, but you've got to really invest in that starting 11, and we just have players who've been here for 5-6 years, you know, still been able to pull on jerseys in the Premier League in 2022, and it's just children. It's a nursery at Leeds United, and they love that, you know, and that's why. Where it concerned me the other day when Jesse was speaking about January transfer windows, and then he went on to talk about the kids and giving the youngsters, you know, we've got to prioritise the youngsters. It's like you'll sleepwalk to relegation. It's that simple. We'll get relegated if there is a real stark concern for me. And as I mentioned earlier with you guys, it's the mentality's huge, and the fact that they've just, I mean, how must they be feeling when they score a goal? Like if I mean, as a fan, I barely even react anymore because I just know we're going to concede. So I can't imagine how they're feeling. I really can't. But so many individual errors today again. Like we say, pretty much week in, week out. Liam Cooper just making an abundance again. Yeah, a joke first goal, and that's all I've got to say, everyone. It's a real kicker again. But that's life being a Leeds fan, isn't it? It's never easy, ups and downs and all that. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Do you think we need to invest in January? Are you sort of happy with how things are going at the minute? I don't know. Tough one. Guys, have a half decent Saturday night, and I'll see you in a bit.